Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you very much for having us, that we are able to talk today about a little bit about pricing. So we are the company Decorate Consulting, a small consulting company based in Munich. I'm here with my colleague Sebastian. We both have a strong history in an orange car rental company. You probably know this company. Adrian has also a history with that company. We've been working together basically. We focus a lot on the topic of pricing, also other topics in terms of helping car rental companies getting better in their digitalization processes and stuff. But my personal focus is pricing. I've been doing this for 10 years and for other industries. So this is where we're coming from. So our topic today is, it sounds a little bit strange, but we think that pricing is not a pricing issue. I will explain how we think it is in a few seconds. We heard that pricing is one of the strategic topics. I think it has always been a very strategic topic in all companies, and it will remain a very strategic topic. We all know in this room, we're going to a revenue conference, so we know that pricing is important, but just wanted to highlight, you don't have to read the numbers, highlight how important this topic pricing is. You can see on the screen a matrix showing the utilization and the RPD. It's a company having 1,000 cars, and the pink one is the status quo, so they're having a 60% utilization with a 47 RPD. And imagine this company would just improve by, €1 and 1% utilization. They would make 400,000 euro more. And it's basically profit. If you go to this direction, it's profit. If you go to this direction, it's revenue. So you can see easily how important that topic is and how important it is to manage that topic. You can have like a goal area somewhere here. It would be very nice to have 1 million more in the pocket. Of course, this is difficult, but just saying how important it is. And if you're not managing this correctly, you're losing a lot of opportunities. Also showing how important pricing is. Again, everybody knows, but to seeing those figures is really impressive. It's easy to say, okay, let's go down by 10% with the price. Utilization is not good, let's go down 10%. Do you think we can really increase the volume by 30%, which would be needed in this case? It's a calculation based on some assumptions, but having like a certain margin. Without incremental RPD, that's a point. You can say, okay, if I make more volume, I make more IRPD. But still, if you're having an IRPD of €8, you would need an increase of 23% in volume. And you all know how difficult it is to increase by 30% in utilization. So 10% only. And you hear that every day. Let's go 20% with the prices. Do you really think you can make 30% volume? This is the question you have to ask. So we all know pricing is very important. And so why do we think pricing is not a pricing issue? What people think needs to be done. We heard a lot of AI. We will probably hear later on a lot of AI. And everybody who's going to the fair, who's walking through the tech hall, everything is about AI, pricing and stuff. So you could think about, okay, let's let the AI take over, or we implement weather data. That's the thing we always hear. Okay, let's implement weather data in our decisions. Everything nice to have. We're not saying this is not important, and we all know the power of those tools. This will definitely be the future. Or other things. Okay, where do we position ourselves? Where are our peaks, pricing rules? Everything is important, but we say, okay, let's do the first things first. We need to have a proper operating system. We call that a pricing operating system. So everything belonging to this, saying, okay, how do we build it? Yes, we have to find what are our value engines. And one of these value engines, you might be surprised, is pricing. So this needs to be on the top list. You have to have the playbooks, the canvas, how do people do it, all the processes and stuff. You need to have the right KPIs. We call it company scorecard. You have to have the meetings, and you have to have a compass. That's what Emmanuel said at the beginning. You have to have a vision. Where do we want to go? And if you have everything like this, okay, it needs to be mapped somehow, okay? Everything we're selling, this is a value engine. How do we fulfill it? Who is doing it? And what can we not mess up? So that's what we said at the beginning. Pricing is so important. This is something we cannot mess up. If we mess up the pricing, then we are running out of the game at a certain point. So who does it, and how do we know it is working correctly? We have to have kind of KPIs showing, okay, is my pricing working correctly? So this is basically very theoretically. And if we write down what is value engines of car rental, we come to the point, okay, we need to buy cars. This is very important. Every car rental organization needs to be good in buying cars. We have to have a good fleet planning. Where do we position the cars at what point? We need to have like a kind of brand. Brand need to support the price. We need to have different channels where we get the volumes from. And obviously, some operational processes have to be good in order to serve our customers. But here comes the point now. We think that all of these important value engines are heavily connected to pricing. So you can find a connection between those in every point, every time it is connected to pricing. So we think it is very often the case that the companies are missing the connectivity between these fields. So we showing here this nice person, very analytical, probably sitting in his own room doing pricing, but is not speaking to any other department. And that is what we call the fail connectivity. We will show some real examples in a few seconds where we explain why it is very difficult at a certain point to have this guy. He might be very good in mathematics, but he needs to have some other skills too in order to pricing. So yeah, this is real examples. It's based on our experience. We are supporting a lot of companies. We have also done this at SIX, where we were talking to a lot of franchise companies, franchise clients of SIX, and we have a bunch of examples where this connectivity is missing. You see on the left side the connectivity between fleet planning and pricing. You see, okay, I have station A and station B. I can either, if I have a different demand on those stations, I can either increase the prices or I can shift cars, for example. If I do not balance these two and they're working not together, this is very, very difficult and very dangerous. So this is an example of one of our customers. They were doing pricing independently from fleet planning, and at that point it didn't work out. If you are saying utilization is going up and you increase the prices, at the same time you shuttle tons of cars into that branch, you have to go down with the price again because the demand is going down. So this is simple things, but again, it's the connectivity between pricing and the other discipline, and it's dangerous. So these departments have closely worked together. You can call it capacity management, fleet revenue management, I don't know, but these two have to speak a lot together. Also, obviously, IT. We have this nice MS-DOS sign. Some of you might know this software from the past. From today. Yeah, even some are having it today. But the case is, customers asking us, okay, can you help us implementing dynamic pricing, and how you call it, be dynamic, implement AI, but on the other hand, they have like a car rental software based on MS-DOS level. These have to definitely work together. So it's not it's not just the one side, it has to be on all disciplines. One of the strongest connections, obviously, between pricing and other departments is the one to controlling. We often see that these two disciplines are not working together in the right way. You have controlling and you have the pricing on the other hand. They work independently, but we think that this is the most important connection. You see controlling is touching the pricing at several points. Yeah? You have to have it on the base rate calculation. You have to have a connection in terms of, in terms of planning. Pricing has to know what is planned in the company. You have to have a connection in all the operational processes. If you're speaking about thresholds, somebody yielding needs to know, okay, how low can I go? And also in the analysis part, pricing is heavily dependent on the controlling. So this everything looks like it's very obvious, but again, it's real-time examples. We have seen that in many companies, and you have to ask yourself if this is the case, these connections are not working very well together. Just an example, it's a foundation of the proper revenue management. Yeah? If you come to the base rate calculation, you need to know, okay, what is my fleet cost, what is my indirect fleet cost, my channel cost, my fixed overhead cost, my margin target, and stuff like that. This is the base, and then for the base rate calculation, okay, you need, dependent on length of rent, you need to have a percentage, because cost is obviously going down the longer you rent. So this is just an example how it can look like, yeah. But all these numbers need to come from controlling and need to be triggered from the controlling department. Also, a proper channel planning is very, very important. Most of the companies, they just plan, okay, we want to achieve that and that revenue. But we think it is really important to have a proper channel planning, channel by channel. What is my cost, my direct cost of that channel? What is my RPD I can achieve? How much of this business do I want to have, and so on and so on. And obviously, at one point, you will come to a channel margin, and you can easily find out, okay, seems like replacement is not doing that good. So do I really want to push that channel? I don't think so. Huh? It's again obvious, but a lot of companies are not doing it correctly, in our opinion. Thresholds, again, a very important topic. If it comes to revenue management, yield management, so the controlling department has to give to the pricing department, to the revenue department, proper calculated price thresholds. And we work like this. We have different zones, and we need to protect these zones. You have the zone where you have a contribution to your result. We have obviously a profit zone, and we have a loss zone. And what we see often, because of a lot of cheap players out there dropping rates at airports, selling for, I don't know, 20 euro a day, even the washing costs 25. So this is definitely in the loss zone. So I have to think, do I really want to follow those anymore? Do I think I need the volume, or do I really want to hire my utilization just because others are dropping the rates? Again, we see minus 10%. I need to have 30% more volume, and especially if I'm in this area, I'm not even making €1 extra with that rental. So I really have to think, okay, do I follow? I don't name it, but you know a lot of players out there who are not controlling this like this. But this is the market, and in low seasons, you tend to try to go in this area, but you shouldn't. Obviously, everybody wants to be there all the time. This is not possible in low seasons, high seasons, so the demand is going up and down. But obviously, if you have a good calculated base rate, and you sometimes are above and sometimes are below, it should manage out that you achieve the results at the end. Last but not least, we think it's very important to have to have a good view on the figures. You have to know your figures. And you have to look at it from different angles. It's a not so easy slide, but this is just an example, a fictive example of saying, okay, we have an RPD change, but where is that actually coming from? I can see normally a channel is developing. You see in the middle I have a price effect. This I can easily manage and analyze. Okay, I have no effect in the B2B, I have no effect in the replacement, but I'm growing my RPD in the touristic with 2.5 euro. So this seems to be very good. But at the end, the total effect of the touristic segment is 0 because I'm heavily growing the channel itself. This is just to give you an idea of what is possible and that you have to look at all these KPIs from a different angle. And at the end, you will find out, okay, I have better touristic prices, but I leveled that out by increasing the touristic volume. So it has no effect at the end on my RPD change. So most of my RPD change is coming from retail, which I also grew heavily in the volume. It's just an idea to see, okay, how can I look at all these numbers? And here in the middle, you can see basically the effect of your revenue management team. So to have that independently from a total effect. So obviously, they are hiring the prices in the touristic segment, which is good for the pricing. So, yeah, we say pricing is obviously not always a pricing issue. It is most of the time a fail of connectivity to other disciplines, but it's not only a pricing issue, but often it's not a pricing issue. Sometimes it is a pricing issue, and the question is, at the end, is pricing really a pricing issue? And the answer basically is, it's dependent on where are you at the moment, how good is your operating system at the moment. And we call it operating system maturity, you can call it price maturity, there are a lot of theory about it out there, but dependent on where you are on the circle, obviously what is really needed. At the beginning, you probably don't need the mathematician, you don't need an AI solution at that point, because your system is not ready, your processes is not ready, the people are not ready for that. The higher you grow, the more important it gets. So we definitely say that AI, tools, very good software is really important for everybody, and this is the changer in the future. So if you're not investing into that, you will not compete anymore in a certain point. But to come there, it is very, very important that you make your homework first, that you clean up the processes, you have the right stuff, you have the processes, you have the analytics and the connectivity between all these involved departments. And then, at that point, you certainly need AI, you need Albert Einstein, you need advanced analytics. There's a lot of very good tools out there helping you. Just to name one, it's obviously our host of today, WeYield. We've also been working with WeYield a lot in the past. So there is very good tools out there, but we often see that companies implementing it fail because of everything we showed today. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, please feel free.
Any question from the audience? Ouais, attends, je te donne le micro, parce qu'il faut qu'on enregistre en même temps. Tu prends ça aussi avec toi.
Hello, just to joke about the weather, when you told it, it's just because I'm working a very touristic place with a lot of hotel station, and there's a very, very big correlation between the weather and the direct contracts. Because every time that it's cloudy, every people want to take a car and to climb the Teide, which is a big volcano of Tenerife. So that's quite strange, but the weather for us, it's something that is gonna tell you if you need to move some cars from the airport to the hotels sometimes. Because if you don't have so many cars in the hotels, you will need to bring it because you know that it's cloudy day. You will really but a lot of car industry today.
Yeah, I'm absolutely correct. Yeah, weather is important. I mean, airline demand is a good signal how much is coming to your airport and so. So obviously this data is very important, and for you the weather is even more important. Probably for station in Berlin it's not that important. If you maybe convertibles, but I think that's it. But it's not the first thing I would think of if I speak about what is a good pricing strategy. But yeah, certainly. Yeah, no, but you are then on the right side. Yeah, you need weather data there.
Any other comment? You know, to illustrate this pricing issue and the techno that comes behind, I had two discussions yesterday and today. One is coming from a friend with Romain, with a revenue management company in hotel mostly, and he said nowadays most of his clients, they even don't want to have manual interaction with the pricing. Whenever they can say, okay, it will be automatic, yes, it will be fantastic. And this morning I had a meeting which says exactly the opposite. He said, I do not want to have any automation. All the recommendations are overridden. All. So it's like totally different approach, okay? And I think most of them, it's a question of mindset. One, they're already ready and they don't want to interact anymore because the machine is much better. And some others said, no, I need to control every single recommendation. So I like your graph of meaning it's a process from the beginning, advanced, progressive, and expert. It takes time. If I'm not mistaken, I was discussing recently about Air France Airlines, okay? They have a fantastic revenue management system, you believe, for decades. And their revenue manager, they are not allowed to do more than X number of overrides. I think it's per month or maybe per year, I'm not really sure. And if they do, they have to justify it. So meaning that if we go with too much liberty to the human, the intention is necessary to say, I know better than the machine. And they know that it can pollute the machine then. And so their boss said, okay, you have to justify me why you override the system. So you have to think about it, because if we want to go one step further, we need to also change the way we look at things and accept that the machine and the computation sometimes will be much better because it never has any weekend, no vacation, no problem with kids and issue that we are facing every day as a human. So that's the next, huh?
Yep.
So thanks for having pointing out. There is many things that Stefan pointed out that is in the apps. I don't want to make too much publicity on the WeYield apps, but fleet planning, I mean, we are struggling, honestly, guys, a lot. We have now a module to set your own fleet planning for the one who does not want to have their fleet plan into their operating system. And we have a Rentway here with Guilherme. We have this connectivity, so whenever you have your purchase order directly into Rentway, it's connected with us. But if you don't have it, fair enough, you can load it via the interface or via an Excel spreadsheet. Honestly, very few people are putting their right fleet plan into the system. So when you have a computation based on future, on forecast utilization and a pricing recommendation attached, I can tell you the recommendation will be crap. Huh? Because I may reach 60% utilization for the 15th of June. This is what we have in the system. No, but you know, we will have 100 extra cars. But where? The system, where the system knows that we will have an extra 20% increase of fleet for the 15th of June, if you don't tell it. So it's important to go also one step further and bring more element to the system so then the system can compute better. And we are not talking rocket science, we are talking fleet plan that you do in Excel or somewhere, I'm sure. But put it into the system. And the price and volume effect, it's also integrated automatically. You can check last month instantly what was the price and the volume effect you had in your performance. And honestly, it's super. I was discussing it this afternoon with one client. It was extremely inspiring. So, any question? Yes.
It's after your
Arthur.
Promotional motivational speech.
Keep that.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing as a, you know, as a person from both technological sides and the current side. I want to add that sometimes this, let's call it evolution, because many people try to avoid revolution, needs to be explained to people and businesses that it really needs to be divided into certain steps. Because the thing that you showed this slide of like passing from one stage to another one, it's really important that businesses don't try to do that immediately. Because on my side, I see a lot of businesses that churn out of this technological progress when they try to have this perfect step from Excel or from paper sheet into super advanced mechanism. Well, AI is doing everything behind them, you know, and they expect that it's gonna happen in one day. So I think that patient, well-planned roadmap with setting up step by step and going from this automatization of the processes using the fleet management system or whatever, property management system, then moving to proper understanding of rates, how you manage them, then utilizing assets, whatever it is, hotel, car rental, whatever, and then moving to these AI suggestions and forecasts and everything else. That's the way to go. So just my recommendation is never try to do that transition from Excel to space science in one step, because that's where people burn out, because expectations don't match the reality. But otherwise, thank you. Perfect presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, our answers as well, because this is a great segue into our next